Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Hello, I'm Listening. With me, Dani.
With Mrs. Butterscotch and Woifi.
Mrs. Butterscotch doesn't need to be here every single time.
Yes, she does. She lives here.
She lives, oh yeah, in her cage.
No, in her coffin.
Her coffin. Last time you said it was like a crate.
No, it's a crate. It's a coffin. Something like that. I live here. Since you built and it's so big here, I have plenty of space to house me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't. We spare our guest a long intro today. And we have our guest. He's sitting in front of us. That's our first in-house guest.
It is.
Our first in-flesh guest. Flesh and bones. Joseph.
Hello.
Hello.
Danielle's dad.
Yep. He has been on the podcast before. I don't
Yes.
remember what the episode is called, but that's when we were still translating love, I think.
I think so too. I think so too. Over Zoom or Skype or whatever.
Yeah, long time ago.
It's been a while.
Look how far you've come.
I mean,
We have 3 more listeners.
yeah, basically. Yeah, no, but he's visiting us for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I had the idea of using that to create content.
Using me.
To create some content. And he was like, sure, for $30, I'm in.
30. I said 100.
God damn it.
Inflation.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so we thought we'll do an episode together. And the episode would be... He forgot.
No, it's about... We're prepared. It's about when I told him that I was moving.
Yeah,
Austria,
and
like how
his
that
side
was.
of you moving here.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's go into the whole thing. I mean, you asked the question. It's more of your side coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if I told you for the first... It was Christmas time when I told you that I was thinking about it. And then a couple days later, I bought my ticket.
Yeah,
it was really fast.
Uh-huh.
But we talked... All I remember is that we talked about it at the coffee shop by the lake.
Uh-huh.
Collectivo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't remember how the conversation went. I was super nervous.
Yeah, I don't know why you were nervous because I knew it was coming. I knew you were going to make this decision.
Mm-hmm. In typical Danielle fashion, very
Dramatic.
spontaneous.
Yeah,
and
dramatic.
Yeah. But how was it for you? Like, you knew it was coming, but how was how did you feel?
I mean, surprisingly, it didn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking to myself, okay, you know, it's coming out of a terrible experience, not knowing what's ahead and taking a chance.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. I mean, at the time you were living in Portland, so it's not like
I was far away
you were
anyways,
living down the street from me. So the distance did not concern me.
Mm-hmm. What about the fact that you had never met him before? Because at that time,
That's true.
Yeah.
you had come to Woifi had come to Portland to visit me,
Yeah.
but
Like
you
a
were
week
there the week
after.
before
Yeah.
or 2 weeks before.
Mm.
And so you guys had never actually, I don't even know if you talked at that point yet. I think that was after.
I don't.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
But I generally wasn't concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew that you guys were close.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how close, but I knew really close.
Yeah.
And I trusted that.
Mm-hmm.
And strangely, I wasn't even worried. In fact, I remember being peaceful about it, sleeping really well at night.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's hard to explain. I was more nervous about you moving to Portland
Really?
and getting married. To
First
Peter.
time. my trophy husband over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I look like an Aryan child, so who would worry about me? Blue eyes, blonde hair.
Yeah.
Like, he looks trustworthy. His Nazi mobiliar in the basement and his collection of Nazi stuff is not concerning at all.
The armband? Nah.
It's a phase.
It's a phase.
Yeah, I don't have that, so it's just a joke. So nobody thinks that I own anything remotely.
No, but Mom actually was similar. I mean, at least I know with Peter, she was that way too. Like, even though Peter and I had been dating for 5 years before we got married, or almost 5 years before we got married, she also, like 2 weeks before we got married, when we were living with her, she and I were sitting out on her porch drinking wine, and she was like, this question's probably going to piss you off, but I have to ask it. And she asked me if I was positive that I wanted to marry him. And I broke down, like just complete broke down in tears. And I always thought it was, like in the moment, I thought it was because I was upset by the question. Like, how could you even question it?
Okay.
But looking back, I started to realize, I was actually fucking terrified. Like, that's not what I wanted. And But
did
she
you tell
also
her?
Yeah, I did. But she also questioned it. She was also not like super. But with you, she was also how you were, Dad, just like very, okay. It's fine. It works for me.
He looks like a harmless little boy. That's interesting.
But at the same time, you're grown up at the time. It's not like you were 18 years old. I probably would have felt differently. But at the same time, he's coming up too often, Peter, when you got married, I didn't ask the question. And I hate that I didn't ask the question, because I felt the question, but I didn't ask it.
But it also wouldn't have changed anything, because I still would, Mom asked the question and I still did it, obviously. But it was, everything would have still happened the same way, whether you'd asked it or not, because it was just how that relationship unfolded after would have happened the same way.
Maybe. Who knows? But how do you like, I mean, obviously now it's a little different. We are married now for 5 years. And together for more than that. And how do you feel now about, like...
I hate him.
No, not about me. We come to that. No, how do you feel now about the distance and also the time difference?
I mean, it changes now mainly because I've gotten older. And as I've gotten older, I want the people around me close to me.
Yeah.
And it's strange how just over the past 6 months it's happened that way. But I get this question a lot from people I work with, that how did you end up with 2 kids in Europe? And how do you do? I sleep. My general answer is I sleep really well at night, because I know that you're in a good place. You guys are great together. And Zach now is in a good place. And I don't worry.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for that. So the distance thing, I mean, living in Portland, it's really not that much, whether you're 2 hours or 3 hours away across the country or 6,000 miles away across the planet.
Yeah.
It's just an airplane ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the difference happens on the holidays.
Yeah.
That's, at times when you're normally together, it's traditions that you have.
Yeah.
That's when it's a little different, but it's really not bad. It's really not bad. Plus, I get to come to Europe twice a year, once a year. It's great.
I always think too, because of, like, I have such a love-hate relationship with social media, and I hate it most of the time.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have things like Skype, and we have all these texting apps and ways to contact each other. Skype. Without that,
it would be
different. I know, I'm so old.
How old are you now? 70.
Zoom, FaceTime.
When I was young, we didn't have those things.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
And
makes a
then
huge difference.
I wouldn't feel the same because every day we're on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel like you guys are that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine sending a letter.
Yeah.
And it takes like
3 weeks.
3 weeks
Yeah.
or 2 months to
Yeah.
get there, and then everything changed already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just shipped out on the warship. we decided to go to war with Britain. For whatever reason. Half Danielle.
Danielle's voice sounds very similar to Mrs. Butterscotch.
Oh, no. How dare you, Danielle? Danielle S. Steiner.
Danielle S. Steiner?
Yeah.
Do you not know my middle name?
How would I know my middle name? I'm Mrs. Butterscotch. I don't know everything. Yeah. Potty mouth. Yeah, I mean, sure, that's true with social media and I mean, you feel closer.
Yeah.
Because you get to participate in their lives a little bit at least.
Yep.
Without that, it would be shitty, I think. Like,
Or if the time difference
harder.
was even more. Like, the time difference to Australia is insane.
Yeah,
Like,
where-
from the US to Australia, it's like you
Well,
might have an hour where you can actually
I wouldn't allow that
communicate.
move. You wouldn't have moved there.
I don't
Or
think I would
China.
want to go to Australia.
China. I'm going to China. I want to work at a work camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it changes now. Now it changes again with you expecting
Yeah.
the little one.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait, what?
How did I not get that? Why you just let yourself go? Gosh. I mean, sure, now it changes a lot again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that with Ramses.
Yeah.
That he's turning 3 already.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I've only been around him a couple times.
Yeah.
But again, social media comes in. We've been in contact, and we face talk and all that. Face talk, is that a thing?
FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Face talk.
How old are you, huh? 90? Yeah,
So that changes a lot.
Yeah.
So I expect it's fluid. It's a very fluid relationship with the distance thing.
Yeah.
But another question that everybody wants to ask: why don't you move to Europe?
Yeah, I get that. Annoyingly, not enough from somebody at work who's from California who just, well, why don't you just move? Well, it's not as easy as you think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think about it all the time. But yeah, I think the day will come, especially I was talking about this the other day with your mom, Wolfgang, and as I get older, I realize that, with your grandmom, she's getting old. I'm going to be there one day. And who's going to be around and take care of me?
A robot.
Is that
China.
Yeah.
I want to kill you. I mean, I want to help you. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
from a very utilitarian
Yeah.
viewpoint,
Yeah.
it's, maybe I should consider it
Yeah.
more.
I mean, I think about that
But-
too, about, especially when we spend time with your grandma.
Wait. So 2 old people living in that house to take care of. Or you would would it be like a sanctuary for old people? Or what? Like your mom comes to and
Yeah.
they're like, Daddy! Daddy! My teeth fell out again! You're like, God damn it. No, I mean, sure. I mean, obviously there are things in the US where you can either get assisted living or like Florida where
where people go to die.
exactly. With like elderly care homes or like,
sure.
or I assume that they're also, if you're rich or if you have a lot of money, you can probably pay people to come to your house a couple
Yeah.
of times. the week.
Getting old in America is very expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially, not to turn this into gloom, but getting old and dying in America is a very expensive proposition.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't everywhere, but
there's certain things in other countries that are a little more socialized in terms of like, it's not, I mean, it's better here as well if you have a lot of money. You get better care.
Sure.
But at the same time, if you don't have a lot of money, you still get the care you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel, I mean, in America, you're not, that process is not respected. It's taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's different here, but I sense it is.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is.
I sense there's a respect for age.
Yeah, no, there is.
It definitely is.
There is. The only problem is that the social system gets taken apart by certain politics.
Yeah.
And they, the workers who work their asses off to take care of old people, like my stepmom, Regina, she works at an elderly care home, and she's, how old is she now? 57 or 58. And I mean, she's ruining her body because she has to do so much stuff still. And thankfully she doesn't have to lift them anymore and stuff, but they have to because they're understaffed and the pay is shit, to be honest. And so that's the main problem that we're facing right now. But at the same time, I feel like, I mean, that's with the robot comment is kind of true, because at some point we will have robots for that thing, even though it might sound like weird or scientific or science fiction-esque, but at some point those things will be robots. And I don't know if it makes sense to educate a lot of people in that direction, to get a lot of those people, and then, you know, in 10 years or so have to say sorry, but the robots are taking over now. So we would need a little in-between solution. Either getting people from other countries who would love to work here, you know, get a good amount of money and maybe even live here, you know, get an opportunity to live here, but at the same time work in like elderly care and stuff like that. It's an interesting time to, I mean, you probably will see that still, I assume, because in China a lot of robots are already doing that, and Japan as well.
It's out there. But politically, it's a different climate too. It's not as easy to pick up and move somewhere as it once was. And I don't know, because I haven't really explored it, but I mean, the world's turning right on the right side. You know,
everywhere.
And it's getting tougher to move. Places where it was quite simple, the process has become more involved. And the attitudes around that. So I don't know. I don't know what I think about that.
Yeah, but I get that same feeling that you do, Dad, with like, I think not a lot about it, but it comes into my head enough where I think about, okay, what happens when my parents get old? And I would hate it if, God forbid, one of you got sick and I'm over here and then I feel kind of stuck, you know, where I have like this kind of, I don't know, dilemma where, do I go to the US and stay? How long do I need to stay there? Or how long can I stay there if our kids are here and you're here? And can we just pick up and go? You know, I think about that stuff too. And that also is not the most pleasant thought.
No, sure.
I think that's the harder aspect of being so far away, is that it's not, you don't have as easy access to help.
We should get a private plane. I'll look on eBay. Just 18 million, it's fine.
I think it's harder thinking about it, it's harder for you being away from your mom and me than it is for us to be away from you.
Yeah, especially with like the big milestones, like now being pregnant. It's weird. like I always thought that mom would just be there, for that. Like it's like that mother-daughter, you share your experiences with each other and how was it for you when you were pregnant? And we talk about that obviously, but I kind of always thought that I would have her around. Like it's just what you think when you're younger. So that's not super easy, but it gets easier. I mean, again, with being able to talk all the time.
Yeah.
Then, I can't really position the mic the way you want me to.
If you just position it so you talk, you can do that.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better. Because when you move your head towards your dad, you talk past the mic.
Yeah.
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 That's not how mics work.
I know. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome for that lesson.
Yeah. But I don't know, just like with the milestones, it's hard not to have you guys close, and it's hard for me not to be there sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we're working secretly on a plan to get them both over here.
It's not a secret now.
We cut that out, so it's
okay.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, it would be super cool to have you somewhere in Europe.
Yeah.
Either if it's, I don't know, somewhere here or in Germany or Italy or, somewhere where it would be cool. Mm. And obviously Patty too, but with her dogs and her house, it's a little...
She'd have to bring the dogs.
Yeah, and the house. No, I think the thing is she could sell the house for a good bargain. That house things she did to the house. Yeah. I mean... So if anybody needs a house in Cudahy in Milwaukee.
Cudahy.
It's freshly renovated.
Over there in Cudahy.
Taken care of. We can arrange a house, what is it called? A house...
viewing.
House viewing. Public
Without telling her.
Without telling her.
We're here to look at the house.
Let's do that.
So there's a gnome in front of the yard, and there's the key is underneath the gnome. So you just help yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have something else? Otherwise, it's a short episode. That's fine too.
I don't really have anything else that fits with the topic.
I don't know if you have something else to add.
No, nothing to add.
Do you still like Woifi?
Oh yeah,
after all this time.
That's the last question.
I like him more. He's my favorite.
Oh, that's so nice.
I like him more than I like you.
That's okay. I figured. I think Mom does too. So.
That just made my day.
Sometimes if he makes me mad and I tell Mom, like I'm talking to her, like complaining, like, we won't believe what he did today or what he said today. And she's laughing the whole time. Like she finds it, everything that he does, she finds hilarious. So.
Everything?
Everything.
Oh, that's not good. Should be able to be taken seriously.
And there you go. There's the point. We both feel, that's why we feel so comfortable with you being over here.
Yep.
Because we know you have family here. Mm-hmm. And that's important.
Yep.
So well done, Wolfgang.
Thank you. That means a lot. No, sincerely. Thank you. Okay, that's it. Please.
That's it.
Consider subscribe. No, subscribe, goddammit.
You always say consider.
Yeah, fuck that.
Think about it.
No, don't think about it. Subscribe. It helps us out. Rate the podcast, review the podcast, go to our Patreon and fucking give us $5 a month. You won't miss it. We will gladly take it. And say hi to Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi. Bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Watch out for deer.